Okay, thank you for the introduction, Lulu. Hello everyone. So, I hope you guys can see my screen. And yeah, before we start, I hope no one here thought Playwright was about writing plays and came expecting Shakespeare, like me to be Shakespeare here. So, actually, no jokes aside. Thank you for joining today with us on our Fika about Playwright. Today I'm going to share my personal experiences which I gained in the Ascentic projects. So I think we can move forward with that. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Okay, here I will be talking about agenda for today, which will be the first one is modern automation goals. So here I will briefly talk about what modern automation goals are, and then you will be able to understand why playwright became our topic for this week. And secondly, then we will see a real world problem and how playwright comes into play to solve these problems. In the third point, we will go bit beyond from normal web testing and discuss and see what playwright can help us with. At last, there are some tips I want to share with you all. Let's get started with this agenda. So meanwhile, if you have any questions related to topics we discuss here, please feel free to drop in the chat. So I think I can answer them in the Q&A slot. Okay, let's move forward. Yeah, our first topic is the modern automation goal. With this topic, let's refresh our mind by thinking how test automation should roll out with the modern world. So, as you guys know, technology is growing so fast with these AI tools coming into play nowadays. So, I suppose we need to rethink what you're going to achieve with test automation and how we can help to leverage business goals. So in the automation solutions we provide, there are some aspects we need to think about. And from next slide, we are going to discuss only four of them, but there can be many more. I would suggest to brainstorm them with yourself when you have free time. Okay, so let's move forward to talk about these four items. Yeah, first one is easy to learn. So the solution we provide for our stakeholders should be easy to learn, right? If you're the, if you're like if it's very complex and it's taking time to learn, so stakeholders won't expect that much of complexity and that much of time you are taking to do that, right? Because they need to see the quick results. Okay, and also by selecting easy automation solution, you can reduce the learning curve for the new users as well. So that's one aspect of our 4 points. The other one is test fast and painless. Yeah, the solution we select should be fast. In Here, the fast means not the execution; it's the test development, right? So the scripting should be fast. So where we can provide quick solutions when the test development can be fast, right? And also it should not be painful for those who do the scripting and those who adapt into the tool newly. So that's the second point which I have. And the third one is like test layer coverage. So you know that this in the test pyramid, we are starting testing with unit testing level, the component testing, integration coming into play, then API, and ends up to the UI testing. So, maybe we are starting our solution with the end-to-end testing where UI come into play, but in some point, your stakeholder come and tell that yeah, like we need to leverage our testing for the other levels. So if your automation solution can incorporate that, so it's a plus sign, right? You don't need to go for another stack of tools to do that. So you can do that with your solution itself. So it's a win-win situation for us as well as stakeholders. The fourth one is immediate feedback cycles, like rapid feedback cycles. It means like if developers are changing the code to do the development, and if we can run the automation in top of that and give the immediate feedbacks to them where the things are broken and where the defect has arisen and what are the stability of the code, so the stakeholder can go like release things into market very quickly. So that's the kind of help they need from our automation solution we are going to give, right? So that's the expectation. So we need to think about that aspect as well. So here I discussed 4 points which I came up with. As I said before, there can be more. right? So what I think is, modern automation goals should aim to enhance the overall quality of product, but it should be done with considering the time as well. So time is thing which we are playing with here. So that's the tricky part. And also, uh, so in the middle circle, I have said that testing is not easy. I think everyone in here, maybe especially the QA engineers, will agree with me, because testing is not easy as it's see, right? So, and also, with this, these four topics come into play, we will be concluding that there are many tools available in the market to achieve these automation goals. But today, uh, we are going to actually check for one. This is Playwright. Okay, then let's move forward. Okay, so I'll give you some brief history about Playwright before going into the execution part. So Playwright is kind of Node.js library available for the mainly browser automation, and it is free open source, so developed by Microsoft and launched in kind of 2020 January. So to give you some history, there was a tool called Puppeteer which done by the uh, Google, and lately those developers which worked in the Puppeteer came to this tool. So if you deep dive into Playwright a bit, you can see some similarities between Puppeteer and Playwright as well. Yeah, that's kind of history. So we will be considering this automation open source and free website. You guys can see my screen, I think, to go through these automation examples, and what to see show you what we can achieve with the automation. So this is that's right. This is this website. So this is kind of a e-commerce application. You guys can see. So there are some tools available for us to shop, and there are some functionalities like sorting, price range filtering, and category filtering as well. And there are some interactions between admin and customers. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you want more details, you can go to the contact and go to this GitHub repo. So there are some user data details shown here. So we have admin and we have user in this application. So with that, we can send some details for the message for the admin as a customer, and also reply back as admin to the customer, and this conversation go back and forth. So we will need that particular function too, so we are going to see how we can automate that as well. Apart from that, we need this search. We are going to see how search can be automated, and also we are selecting item here, and we are doing add to cart, and we will be verifying the cart price as well by loading cart. So that are the three features we are going to automate with this our playwright session, right? Okay, I think that's about playwright introduction. Yeah, so for that, for moving forward, I think I created like a hypothetical scenario where we can map some requirements with the particular website which I showed. So let's see how these problems in depth, and what are the solution we can give for them with the playwright, right? Okay, so first one is major browser support. So when you know, even every customer or stakeholder coming to us saying like, I need to run these particular browsers, I need to test them. So that's the one requirement we are going to consider. And system behavior in various inputs, multiple environments, and engage with multiple roles, frequent release cycles, and stakeholder final report. So we will go slide by slide, and I will describe the requirement, and also I will describe the solution as well. Then we are going to go for the code and do some things there, and for some things we are going to run the code. Okay, let's start with this. Yeah, this is the major browser support. I think like many automation tool are supporting for the browser running, right? But so what you guys might think, what speciality Playwright has? Yes, there is one. So you guys see that in the right side, I'm saying like Playwright is supporting these browsers starting from Chrome, and it stopped from Safari. But apart from these branded browsers, Playwright can play with the browser engines as well, right? The browser engines concept comes to play like if you get the Chromium, you might have heard that. The Chromium is the browser engine which supports the Google Chrome and the Microsoft Edge. And the Firefox has a engine itself, and also Safari has a WebKit, right? So if you are willing to run the Chromium in your as automation browser engine, you can make sure that your Microsoft Edge and the Google Chrome are functioning well. But there can be some like differentiation between the actual browser and the browser engine. But I think 90 to 90%, 95% it works, right? So, but actually it depends on the customer's need, because if they need to come up with this branded browsers, we need to go with that, right? But if not, we can go for that easy solution. So where we need to run browser engines. So that's the specialty like Playwright has. So I will be showing some code for that. So this is kind of Playwright setups which I did for this demo. So this is a Playwright config I have. So there you can, if you scroll down here, you can see the browsers or browser engines comes as the projects, right? So you can set up the projects here. So I have done for the Chromium and the Firefox. So those are the browser engines. And also the WebKit is here, which you can check the similarity of Safari browser without Mac even. And now here it comes to the branded browsers. It means Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge. So for this particular demo, we are going to use only the Google Chrome, and you can see the engine and the browser differentiate by using the channel, right? So if you specify the channel, it will do the execution with the branded browser you're using. Okay, so apart from that, Playwright supports some mobile viewports where we can do responsive testing using mobile view with the browser. Here you can see some examples. Okay, so and also Playwright supports headless and headed mode. So there's a small configuration you have to change, then it will do that work. Okay, so let's move to the other requirement we have. Yeah, so this is kind of a requirement. I think you guys, everyone have come up with who do the automation, like system behavior in various inputs. Example, if you have many inputs and you want to like test your system using these inputs, right? So this is the solution, kind of data-driven approach come into play. So in my case, I'm using JSON to give the inputs. So I have my test script here. So I'm going to inject my input to my test script. Then I'm going to run this test script on top of my application under test. So that's the basic diagram I have. So we can check this with the website we have. So for that example, I'm getting search. So in the search, I'm going to inject a few products. Then I'm going to perform the search and going to verify the search result shown. So in that case, you can see there are many input for the search, but the results is same, but system is same. The script is same, right? So that's kind of data-driven approach. But let's move to the other slide so I can explain to you how this will get a bit complicated when you want to connect the environment you need to test into this data-driven approach. So let's go to the demo after putting this, like explaining this together. Yeah, so this is kind of diagram which shows testing multiple environments. So like you can see the JSONs and the environment and the test scripts are same here, but we see like environment file additionally, right? So where you can specify the environment you need to test. in actual automation scenarios, this come into play because it's not only the QA environment you are doing testing, right? Maybe you need to execute your test in the QA reg staging, or there can be many environments you need to execute this. So in this case, your test script won't change. So in that case, you need to write your test script in a way it depends on the data, and it can drive the script without relying on the environment, right? So in my case, it's like QA and rec, which I have considered. So environment will be specified in the environment file. So I will be injecting that environment to the script, and then considering the environment which I injected, the JSON will be picked by the script, right? Then also considering the environment, the script will be decide which application under test environment will be used. It can be QA, it can be regression. So let's see how search work for that. So in my case, I don't have QA and rec. I have only the QA for this, but I have written a code in a way like for the search function, we are injecting two products if it is QA environment, and injecting three products if it is reg. So this QA or reg configuration is in environment file. Okay, so so let's go to the code, then it's very clear. Yeah, so this is the search. You can see my environment file here. So I'm specify my environment as QA, so I can give my web URL for the QA, so the login details for the QA. Then if you go to the search, you can see I'm reading. Also, I'm keeping test data as JSONs as in my diagram. For the QA, there are two products. For the reg, there are three products. If we go to the script itself, I'm going to read the JSON files in here, and I have imported them to my the script. So based on the environment which I specified the environment file, the script decide which QA test data JSON to pick. And when it is picked, my test case here will be looped around the products which I have specified in the JSON, right? So example, for the QA, when I run this, there will be two test cases saying, uh, I'm going to run this particular test for the given two products, right? So this is the loop I have used for the JSON looping. So let's see how it runs. Okay, let me run it. Yes. So before coming to the product search, I'm doing a login here. So I think it will be also visible for you. Yeah. So we are logging into the system. Okay. So then this is the search we did here as well. So two searches performed. Uh, yeah. So it's passed, and two tests were run for the two workers, and two tests were passed. So I'm not going to show the reports here because you saw in the log it was passed. So that's the basic concept of running your scripts through some inputs. So that's how you're gonna using Playwright. And if we talk about pipeline a bit here, so you can put this environment variable in your pipeline. So when you don't need code changes to specify the environment, you can specify them in your pipeline itself, then run your scripts. If you are like running your tests with the like separate pipeline only, not in the inside the dev. Okay, so that's the our second one. So let's move to this. Yeah, this kind of unique feature which I think Playwright has. So browser context. This come into play when there are like several user interactions happen in your automation. Like I said, we need to do some testing between users, right? So there the Playwright gives its solution as context. So the context are something kind of different browser instances, but it can keep its own sessions, cookies, and storage as well, right? For example, so this is the context one which I'm in. So example, I'm going to log into that context with the customer, and the context two, I'm going to log in with the admin. So inside the context, you can see a page, this kind of tab. So inside context, there can be many tabs, but these all tabs share the same session, same cookies, and same storage. It will differentiate between context only, right? So we have an example for that as well. If you go for this site, we can log in as customer. Then we have this contact page, so we can send a message. So again, then we can log in as admin for this site. Okay. Then when you send a message as customer, then you can see those particular messages in here, and then you can send reply back. And then again, customer can log in and check the admin's reply. So this process goes back and forth between admin and customer many times. So think of automating this, right? So hassle you want to face in here is you need to log in as a customer, then you to do some stuff, then you need to log out, then you log in as again as admin, then you do that verification log out, and then you again log in as a customer. So this login should be happen several times if you're not using context itself, right? So let's go to the code. Then I think I can explain more uh, and see how we can use the browser context. Okay, so for that, so this is the first file, test file we are using. But before coming to the test file, I have used this auth setup where I'm going to log in as a customer here. Then I'm going to log in as admin here. Then after this process of logging is done, I'm going to save that customer related details into a JSON, right? So this will be created automatically. You can see when I run the code. So here you can see my context for the customer and the admin is different. So the pages also will be different. As I said, page will be referred for tab, right? So when this will happen before you execute the actual test, so it means this. So when it comes to this, you have this JSONs created already because this auth setups is run as a precondition, right? Uh, then you need to perform the message sending operation as a customer, then message replying as admin, then again message verification as a customer. But in these three cases, I'm not using any logins with the code because I'm using JSONs which I saved before, right? So let's see how that code works. So let me run it. I think I need to do a small change before that where I inject that setup dependency into my test case. Okay. You can see in my left tree, there will be two JSON files creating. So when this authentication part happens, you don't see anything from the browser because it's a precondition. But we can see the JSONs here. So yeah, those are created like this. And here that customer is logging and sending a message. Now this is not closed. Now admin is logging in this browser. Yeah, he is loading that message and giving a reply. And then again, customer is loading that reply my admin gave and assert that admin has sent his message to customer. So that's what I did with the automation. I think, yeah, it's done. Okay, so three passed means three comes here with the authentication itself, but we only ran one test file. So one test should be there, but let's see some reporting for that. It should be open in my browser. So this is the report. So this is the authentication setup I did, where customer is logged and the admin is logged. And here the test cases which I executed, where I have these screenshots of some things, and uh, admin and customer interaction happened, right? Okay, so that's how we use the browse context. I think it's most preferred for chat kind of applications in the documentations, and if you refer some tutorials in the web. Okay, let's move forward to our other one. Yeah, so this is the frequent release cycles. Okay, so as in the modern world, as I say, we need to do some frequent releases. So the customer expecting us to do frequent releases. In order to achieve that, so we need quick results, test results, and also we need fast test execution to do that. So we should help customer to push code to production as soon as possible, but also we should maintain the quality as well. So that's where parallel execution come into play, where you need to accelerate your execution to get fast result, right? So to achieve that, we have workers concept in the Playwright itself. It's inbuilt, so workers are kind of OS processes which can run independently, and they have identical environment, and each has its own browsers as well. So apart from this workers concept, if we like go into code, we can say there are some configs attached to achieve this. Uh, okay, let's move to the Playwright config. So it says like you can see in the config itself, they are giving a chance for us to do parallelization with this fully parallel through option. If you make fully parallel through, so you have several test files, the test file will be executed as parallel, as well as the test cases inside the test files also will be parallel. So that playwright select the workers to execute the test files and test cases and do it job, right? So but in case if you think of like you have some dependent test cases, but actually playwright doesn't recommend to keep test cases independent. But in any case, if you have some kind of dependent test cases, you can go with this parallel mode off. Then it will execute test case one after one inside test file. But in case that happens and you don't want to execute everything inside every test case parallel, you can go with parallel keyword inside the particular test, where parallel execution happen inside a file. And for the test files which you have not choose parallel keyword, it will be serial. So that's kind of solution, and the flexibility is there with the playwright. So it's very simple. You need to do like changing some keywords and doing some configuration and on and off. You can go for parallel execution or not. And also the concept called sharding comes into play with Playwright recently, where you can scale Playwright's execution by running tests on multiple machines simultaneously as well. Uh, they are in they are in some experiment level, but we can see in some time how it comes into play as well. So if you move forward to again the slides, to do the frequent releases, I said like we need to do the fast test execution. So the one solution I gave here is parallel execution, but there's another one like testing API and UI together. Here we will go for another demo lately. Uh, let's keep this aside a bit. Now let's move to other one. So stakeholder friendly report. Yeah. So Playwright has their built-in reports types like HTML, list.json, and JUnit. But in case if you are thinking of stakeholder side, we need to give some graphical interface for them. So where these kind of inbuilt reporters doesn't have, we can do some third-party report integration. So there are so many integrations Playwright supports now. But in my experience, I have tried with Allure and Monocart. So the Allure, actually, we were tried to go with the pipeline, but it was challenging. It was a bit hard. But then we came up with the Monocart. It was very easy. And I think I can show you a Monocart report as well. Okay, let me give some, let me get Okay, this is monocart. So this is the monocart report. So you can see it's graphically like it's graphical and stakeholder can see quickly, right? So the past and flaky and skipped and failed counter there. So if you go inside the test, there are screenshots and there are some steps as well, right? So this can be we can write this totally readable using the steps and all. With there are some keywords for playwright for that as well. uh, I think we can reorganize our test to more just to be more readable with playwright's keywords. Okay, so this is monocard. So and also this is the HTML report. I think you can see it gives the same input, but it's not much user stakeholder friendly. So that's why these third party integrations come into play. Okay, so these are the reports Playwright has. Okay, let's again move to slides. Okay, so let's move to the other one. Okay, so as I said, I kept aside the API and UI integration like part aside. So now we are going for that. So this is the QR code if you want to like get the code which I explained before and after. It's in my GitHub. So let's dive a bit in Playwright. Okay. So for this, I'm going to explain this diagram a bit. So and you will understand why we need to go with this kind of approach in some cases, right? So think of a scenario where you have to verify something from the UI, but to get into that point, you have to do some certain steps. But also they are interacting with GUI, and as you know that when we are interacting GUI with the tool, it makes us slow. The execution will be slow. So if we can accelerate that unnecessary part of UI interaction to get into a point where you want to just UI only, so we can use this. So I think I can explain this with the diagram. Yeah. So let's assume my example is assuming testing and verifying the product price of the cart, where I added the item to a cart, then I can load the cart, then I need to do this price assertion in the cart. Okay, so for that, uh, loading cart should be done uh, to do that verification, right? But to do that verification, I need to go through the login and selecting a product and adding that product to cart. So that kind of scenario where I should be done through the UI interaction as well. But at this point, it is not necessary, right? If we can do this precondition via API, so where you are not interacting with the GUI, we can make this part very fast. The execution will be very fast. And also we are loading the UI part only for the product price verification. And uh, it won't add much delay because it's the precondition for that is already done, right? So let's see how we can achieve with that with the Playwright as well. So what I did is like I consider this part up to this loading cart doing with the API, right? So I did some voyage with the website which I came up with and found out what are the calls interacted for this operations, and I automated them. So that was my approach. So then I first came up with login API. Then I had to provide my credentials into the login API, and then I logged in with the API. Then I got the authentication token created. Then I wanted that authentication creator to create a card as well as to get product list. So this operation has to done in first case because to continue with the ad product, I need a product, right? So then I made a call with the products endpoint. Then I get a product list. I selected one product and its quantity and wrote it to a JSON beforehand. Then I create a cart here and I called add to cart with this particular cart ID and the product ID and quantity which I gained before, right? So add to cart happened, and then I will get a verification results. And but before loading the cart in the UI, I had to do some data injection, which is like cart ID to the session storage and authentication token to the local storage as well. Because even you have done these particular activities and you load the cart, you won't see nothing without this part, right? So that's where the data injecting into a browser come into play, and you can see how important it is, and we can achieve that with the Playwright as well. Okay, so let's go into that website where I can explain more. Yeah, so I'm going to log in as customer. Okay, so you can see I'm getting some things, tools here. So I'm going to get this tool and trying to add this into a cart and load that cart with the web, right? So this is the code I wrote for that. Again, we need to comment out this authentication bit. Okay. So let's see my code. Okay. So you can see, so this is my before all, it can be before each as well. So there are some global variables which I have called here, and also I have called playwright JSON as well. So in the before all, I'm calling login API. So where I do the login here using credentials, and then I need to get the product ID from the product list, which I'm seeing in the front end. So that for that, I call the product URL in here. Uh, then I got the product name and the product ID and the product price as well. Product price I will be keeping as global variable, but the particular product ID I will be writing that into a JSON with this particular code. Then I'm going to create cart. So it's kind of calling that particular endpoint, and you will get a cart ID created. Then I'm going to add to cart with that particular cart ID created, and with that the product details which I had saved before in the JSON as a cart payload. So I'm going to send this post request for the this particular endpoint, and you will see that add to cart will be happen, right? So actually this is my cart payload JSON. When I run the script, this product ID will be saved, and this is dynamic and it will happen dynamically. Okay, then the precondition is done from this point. Let's move forward to the test where I inject my token to the local storage, and where I inject my cart ID to the session storage. Then I load my URL for the cart from the web URL. Then I do some assertion for the product price. That's my test case. And also I have added like a 10-second wait time where we need to see what happens. If not, it like going on so fast. Okay, let's run this. Okay, you can see. Okay, so this is some logs which I put, like token is created. Okay, so the token is created. These are some logs to get products and cart ID. So item is added. So this is the cart loaded. You saw that cart loaded with the price itself, and price was asserted. And let's see the report. Okay, so this is the cart loaded from the front end, and my price assertion is passed. Yeah, so it's success. You know that when it goes to the console, you can see like it's took 18.8 seconds. If we reduce kind of 10 seconds, which are used in here, it will be like 8.8 seconds. It's so fast. But if you go with the UI interaction for these tabs, I guess it won't be that much faster because you need to go through so many steps inside the UI. So I'm suggesting to use not to use this in every aspect you automate, because you guys need to have some end-to-end test cases to do, like simulate the user's end-to-end flow testing. But do that with the UI. it doesn't need to be changed. But if you have some other parts where you don't need to do some UI interaction in some point only, and not for all the precondition or not for all the flow, so you can go with this approach. And when it applies to this kind of solution for a like 200 300 test cases, I think you can gain much faster execution. Okay, so that's my main demo. So let's move forward to some tips and tricks which I need to share. First one is design pattern. So I think in most cases we automated inside Agentic, we use the page object model, which made code easy for reusability and readability as well as maintainability. I think I recommend you to go ahead with that. Even Playwright gives us a easy solution, but we can maintain our code very easily with adapting this kind of design pattern. The other one is built-in locators. That's kind of thing inside Playwright, where you can use playwrights in build locators. There are some kind of things called role, placeholder, and label. Like Playwright can capture elements with these kind of keywords. I'm not saying like we cannot use XPath or CSS locators. We can do those, but Playwright is recommended to go on with these its own locators. But I have played with two parts, those two parts, and it worked pretty well for me. Okay, the other one is built-in assertions. Yeah, this comes into play like Playwright has many number of assertions going along with JavaScript and TypeScript mainly, but also there are some other language. Playwright supports Java like C Sharp as well. There also you can see these kind of assertions. I would suggest you to like use them in your code, where you can like avoid unnecessary failures by using these assertions. And for the JavaScript and TypeScript, there are wide range. You can see with the tutorials if you have time. Okay, so the visual testing. This is something like I saw something new to automation tool, but there are paid tool available to do that. But Playwright has this capability inbuilt because it's not only end-to-end testing or the UI testing we are doing today. It's kind of usability testing, mainly focused on image and pixel comparison, where you want to do your UI verification after your builds or the release. You can do some comparison between the UI which you has before and which you now have with the Playwright. So you might be thinking it's only applicable for the static website. It was before, but now with I think Playwright 1.3035 release, they're supporting dynamic things as well, where you need to hide certain dynamic labels, and then you can do the comparison of other static things available in the website. I think that's something very interesting came into play with the Playwright, because rather than checking UI using your own eyes, I think you can let Playwright do it, right? Yeah, so I think that's it uh, from me today. So at last, I would say if you play right with Playwright, it will be very beneficial. So that's it for today discussion. I hope you enjoyed and gathered some knowledge out of this. So thank you, and I think it's time for question, right?
Thank you so much, Thara. And if anyone has a question, please feel free to pop it in the chat. Um, where are we? Oh, I think that we have a question on Instagram. Sorry, I'm just gonna copy it here. Oh no, here we go. So we've got a question, Thara. It is, do you recommend Playwright for API automation?
Okay, I think that's a tricky question. I would say it depends on your project requirement and what kind of solution you need mainly. But again, Playwright has that API automation capability, I would say. But it is like not much experimented yet because it's like a new tool for the community. So there's not much community support for you. But you need, if you really need to do that, I think you can voice yourself. But so compared to the other well-known API solutions available in the industry, I would say like Playwright community support is bit low, but then I would recommend you to do POC before concluding what tool you to be used in your case. Uh, and I have some links where I use to do some experiment with API testing, API automation in Playwright. So I think I can put them in the chat. Thank you. Another, there's few questions, right?
Yeah, there's quite a few. Do you want to go ahead and answer them?
Yeah, I think I will pick just Playwright support mobile testing for iOS and Android. I think I showed that in the code. I think I'm a code. So right, it doesn't, it cannot support mobile automation like Appium do. I would suggest you to go for Appium if you need for the real mobile testing support. But it can rather simulate the browser view. I think I can show it to you like this. So if you go for mobile view using here, so this is kind of responsive testing with the mobile views, right? So these are supported. So I think I showed that in the code as well. There are some, yeah, so we call it mobile viewports. They are not real devices. The way actual things behave in the real devices will be different. If you are going for that kind of testing, I think I would suggest to use Appium or maybe mobile automation tool. But if you need that responsive test, you can go with this. Okay, does this support to Power Platform apps, Canvas? Maybe I think it's kind of Canvas is kind of UI supported tool. If you can like elaborate what kind of app this is, I think it would be better. But maybe I would say like Playwright mostly support on web testing. So I think apart from the API, if it is a web app you're talking about, I think it's supported. But sorry, I don't know much about that Power Platform thing. So maybe I can go come reach out to you later. Okay, if we are new to Playwright, should we install TypeScript when configuring Playwright? So that Isuru's one, I would suggest like you can go ahead with TypeScript or JavaScript. I'm not saying that other languages are not supported. You can go with TypeScript because the whole architecture is from the Microsoft itself, right? The Playwright is Microsoft, and the TypeScript also done with Microsoft, and also TypeScript and the JavaScript has their own test runner for the Playwright rather than adapting kind of test ng for the Java or and unit for the C sharp. You can go ahead with Playwright test, which is an inbuilt test runner for the TypeScript. So it will be very easy for you. I think you can start with TypeScript. Meanwhile, you can try other language as well. Okay, what are the difficulties you faced when adding Alio reports to pipeline? Okay, so actually the Alio reporting work well in the local. When it goes to pipeline, we were unable to download the report itself because I think we were facing some issues to get the pipeline out of the Alio report out of the pipeline as an artifact. That's where we were stuck, and then we didn't had time to void anymore. So we came for the monocart. There was no hassle. It came out without any hassle for us. Okay. Hey Tara, thank you very much for the okay. How what do you think that about testing? Okay, how do you think about AI integration with modern testing? Yeah, so this is kind of not much related to Playwright. I think, however, what do you think about AI integration with modern testing? Uh, I would say you can accelerate your testing maybe you if you go for a yeah, I think I need to say something like you need to accelerate playwright automation. I will answer this for you, consider the playwright. So if you see some tutorials in the web, you can see there are some AI tools available to accelerate your playwright test, right? So I think I can put some links, or maybe you can reach out to me via LinkedIn so I can get back to you. So there are some tools like that, but to be honest, I haven't used, so I should try that as well. Uh, you can accelerate your playwright automation, and uh, maybe you can use Copilot as well. So I would suggest if you need to accelerate. Okay, so according to the test, maybe it's better to test. Yeah, in the second question, I would agree with that. Actually, the business logics should be tested in API level, in my opinion. When it comes to UI level, think we should simulate users flow rather than testing business logic. Maybe there can be some calculations we can do from the front end, but if you can do the logic testing in the API, so that's a better way. Then you can simulate the user's end-to-end journey via front-end testing. So let's test it. Okay, like, do we have time? Okay, so are there any other types of testing we can do, such as, yeah, I think Ravine, right? See, yeah. So I think, yeah, we can do. I think there are some things to adapt to accessibility. We can have X plugin. And I saw some things, some articles about doing component testing with the Playwright. And also, I have tried myself some performance testing, which you can go with artillery kind of tool and web browser, like client-side performance testing with the Playwright. Yeah, visual testing also can be done, and API can be done. There are some articles for the component as well. Yeah, so that's my experience. Yeah, the Tilan, I observe many Playwright tutorials. Yeah, that's kind of because I think, as I said before, like Playwright has their own test runner for the TypeScript and JavaScript rather than other tools. Because because other languages we need to come up with integrating kind of test runner, maybe Java for the test ng for the Java, and you need for the C sharp, and PyTest plugin is there for the Python as well. So with TypeScript and JavaScript, it's rather easy because test runner is there. Installation is easy. You can go ahead with that using their own things. Okay, let's go to the other one. Actually, to automate, there are so yeah, we cannot choose driver, right? Sorry, I'm not good to answer that one. Second at once. Yeah. Yeah, you have mentioned that zero step AI integration is there. It's there, right? You can accelerate your playwright testing with zero step AI integration, and there were some other tools as well which I can send you over. Okay, I think that's it. That's it, right? Should I? Hey, can I? Okay. No, I can. Okay, I think let's wind up for today. But I will say, like, if you have any questions, reach me via LinkedIn. It's Thara Shadini in LinkedIn. So I think I'm happy to answer them. So thank you all.